On the go? So are we. Get the IBJ Media app, your all-in-one news source for Indiana business news. Get breaking news alerts, read every story from IBJ, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Lawyer, and listen to your favorite podcasts all in one place. Big news, small screen. Search IBJ Media and download the app today.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio on demand for Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. I'm Gary Dick. GE Aerospace says its planned $1 billion investment in the U.S. includes $65 million for Indiana plants in Indianapolis, Terre Haute, and Lafayette, and an undefined number of new jobs here. Lafayette plant lead Jordan Wysong says investment in workforce development efforts will be paying off.
Specifically here in Lafayette, we've committed money to the local Greater Lafayette Career Academy to help set up a program to get people ready for these types of highly skilled jobs. We've actually taken people from the local community who didn't have prior aviation experience but had that manufacturing knowledge, brought them into our shop, trained them up on how to maintain these power plants and ultimately earned their power plant license from the FAA.
The now former president of the Northern Indiana Commuter Transportation District says the long-awaited extension of the South Shore line will open at the end of this month. In his final letter to riders issued last week, Michael Nolan said the $945 million Monon Corridor will be available to riders on March 31. The Monon Corridor extends the South Shore line 8 miles south from Hammond to Dyer, with several new stops along the way. The manager of the 6,000-acre River Ridge Commerce Center in southeast Indiana has approved more than $5 million in new service agreements with 4 municipalities and a school corporation. They provide utilities, public safety, and educational initiatives. The board of directors of the River Ridge Development Authority approved agreements with Jeffersonville, Clark County, Charlestown, Utica, and the Greater Clark County School Corporation. From the state's #1 source for Indiana business news, you're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio. Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick, coming to you this week from Northwest Indiana, Jeffersonville, Muncie, South Bend, in downtown Evansville, Terre Haute, Fort Wayne, Richmond, from one of the state's key entrepreneurial and innovation hubs, 16 Tech. Inside Indiana Business, Indiana's business news leader. A bipartisan group of 13 attorneys general is suing Evansville-based OneMain Financial.
The lawsuit, filed in New York on Monday, says OneMain employees steered borrowers into purchasing loan-related products while making deceptive claims about whether the products were required and how they could be canceled. The attorneys general say the conduct affected tens of thousands of borrowers and violated state consumer protection laws. The products include credit insurance, which claims to pay the loan if a consumer dies or becomes unemployed, as well as products like home and auto memberships that are similar to AAA. These products increase the cost of the loan. The lawsuit alleges that OneMain does not check whether the consumer may already have a home or auto membership service. OneMain said the practices involved with the lawsuit were already reviewed with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in 2023. In that settlement, OneMain agreed to repay $10 million to consumers and pay $10 million in fines and penalties for allegedly selling add-on products to consumers. OneMain is one of the largest U.S. non-bank installment lenders. It primarily offers loans to those with subprime credit scores, meaning much of its customers are already financially struggling when they come to OneMain. Alex Brown, Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Rob Shoemaker resigned from his role as Indianapolis Zoological Society CEO March 6. That according to a joint statement issued Monday by Shoemaker and the organization's board chair. Shoemaker had led the Indianapolis Zoo for a decade and began a leave of absence for undisclosed reasons in mid-February. The zoo declined to elaborate on the departure. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.
Stay ahead with Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand, your go-to source for the latest business news across the Hoosier State. Join hosts Gary Dick and Alex Brown every weekday morning and afternoon for concise updates on Indiana's top business stories. Subscribe now on your favorite podcast app or listen at ibjpodcasts.com.
Your commute just got smarter. Turn drive time into growth time. The IBJ Media Podcast Network gives you front row access to leaders shaping Indiana's economy, culture, and future. No filler, just smart, relevant local storytelling you won't get anywhere else. Find all of our shows by searching IBJ Media in your podcast app or visit ibjpodcasts.com.